We're facing these huge global challenges, things like climate change and health crises. And it's funny, right? We're more connected now than ever before, but getting everyone to work together on a global scale, it feels almost impossible sometimes. And that's the big paradox we're going to dig into today. And that really is the question of our time, isn't it? We have all these brilliant people, all these urgent shared goals, but we just keep getting stuck. It really feels like we're all speaking completely different languages, just talking right past each other when the stakes have never, ever been higher.
The source material has this perfect name for it, a Tower of Babel syndrome. And it's such a great metaphor because this isn't just about different languages. Nope, it's about fundamentally different ways of seeing the world. Our beliefs, our histories, our core values, they create these invisible walls that stop us from acting as one.
But what if we could build something to actually bridge those divides? Not by trying to force everyone to think the same way, but by creating a totally new way for us to understand each other. Well, this is where a concept called the synergy engine comes into the picture. So what is this thing? Well, at its core, the synergy engine is described as a collaborative intelligence infrastructure. Okay, that's a mouthful. So think of it more like a nervous system for the whole planet, a system designed to weave together all these scattered efforts, all this separate knowledge, and all these different people into one coherent, effective team.
And this is a really crucial point. We're not just talking about another app or a new piece of software. The sources describe this as a new architecture for how we act together, a fundamental shift in our ability to achieve more as a group than we ever could on our own.
Okay, so that's a really powerful idea, right? But how does it actually work? How do you tear down that modern-day Tower of Babel? Let's take a look at the specific tools this engine uses to start building some common ground. So it really breaks down into 3 key pieces. First, you've got something called perspective mapping. Then there are meaning translation modules. And finally, a generative AI diplomatic framework. Let's dive into what each of these really does. All right, this first tool is all about making the invisible visible. Perspective mapping takes that tangled mess of our individual assumptions and our hidden biases, and it just lays them all out on the table so we can see them. It allows us to literally see where other people are coming from, and that can turn a potential fight into a moment of real shared insight. Now, this next one goes even deeper. You've been there, right? Where you're using the exact same words as someone else, but you mean completely different things. These modules are designed to sniff out those hidden differences in real time. We're not just talking about translating language here. We're talking about translating the cultural context, the values, and the beliefs behind the words. And finally, there's the AI-powered digital diplomat. This framework helps everyone navigate the really tricky currents of cross-cultural communication. It's designed to create a safe space for dialogue by spotting potential misunderstandings before they can blow up. Think of it like having a super smart, culturally aware guide in the room, helping everyone speak the same emotional language. So these tools are amazing, but they're really just the how. What's even more interesting is the why, the much deeper philosophy behind it all. See, the whole system is built on a pretty radical idea, that our diversity isn't a problem we need to solve. It's actually our greatest superpower. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. For centuries, we've kind of treated our cultural differences as a fragmentation vector, a source of division and conflict. The Synergy Engine model completely flips that script. It sees our diverse perspectives as this incredibly rich source of creativity, innovation, and resilience. And here is a perfect example of what that means in practice. The sources really emphasize that indigenous wisdom isn't just some cultural artifact. It's a vital data set for our survival. When you take that deep, time-tested ecological knowledge and you pair it with modern science, you don't just get a better picture of the world, you get a roadmap to a more sustainable future. And this is so important. The goal here is absolutely not to create one big homogeneous global culture. It's the exact opposite. It's all about strengthening local sovereignty and amplifying the unique wisdom that each and every culture holds. So, all of this leads to the big ultimate vision here. How do we create a world that can act together to solve these massive problems without forcing everyone to think, act, and be exactly the same? The answer lies in this simple but profound guiding principle: alignment without loss of autonomy. It's about getting everyone on the same page, not putting everyone in the same box. It means every group can keep its own unique identity, its own way of doing things, but they can all agree to move in the same general direction. The concept for this is often called swarm intelligence. And honestly, this image of the birds just says it all. Each bird is its own individual, acting autonomously, yet together they create this incredibly intelligent, coordinated whole. The synergy engine is basically the infrastructure designed to let us do the same thing, but on a global human scale.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, what we're really looking at isn't just a new piece of technology. It's being presented as a tool for our collective evolution, a way to help us grow up from a fragmented, competitive species into a cooperative, regenerative one that can actually take care of our planet.
And that leaves us with this really powerful question to think about. Can we build a world that's unified, but in a way that truly celebrates every single unique voice? The vision behind the Synergy engine says yes, we can, and it suggests that our very survival might just depend on it. Thanks so much for joining me.